Your specific person wants you to do this one thing, and if you do this, they will start chasing you. Do you know that your specific person is just a messenger who is just telling you who you are? Basically, they are just reflecting what you believe. I know this is kind of shocking, but the ones who truly understand this get their specific person to chase them. Even in my life, when I sit alone and observe my past, I get these great insights about why people chased me and why they ignored me in the past. These insights will change the way you look at your current situations. After understanding this, you would know exactly what needs to be done from your side to turn this dream of making your specific person chase you into a reality. It will feel as if you have received a magic wand that could make things work in your favor. But before proceeding, I want to congratulate Just Imagine 24 for joining channel membership. Now, what were these insights that would help you to change your current situations with your specific person? If you observe your own life, you would figure out that your life was not a linear journey. It always had some ups and downs. Also, there were times when people were chasing you, and on the other hand, there were times when people were ignoring you. Upon my observations, it was evident that there were two versions of me. There was a version of me that made people chase me, and then there was another version of me that made them ignore me or reject me. Let us first talk about the version that made people chase me. So, this version that made people chase me consisted of some beliefs and attitudes that attracted people in a way that was beyond logic. Like, this version had some goals. This version wanted to achieve big things in life and wanted to improve in every area of their life. Even though this version of me didn't have this huge amount of money, still this version attracted many dates and was chased by the people. It was not like this version was successful in every area of life or had this great physique. It was just because this version had dreams, this version had goals, and this version had a vision to become great. This version was ambitious, motivated, and active. Also, this version had these beliefs that he is great at communicating. This version had this belief that it can do and have anything that it wants. It also had these thoughts that things can get better and everything will eventually work out. This consistent idea of improving and becoming better in every area of life made this version's personality magnetic and drew many people into this version's life. This version went on many dates and parties and easily made connections everywhere it went. Also, this version would not sit on bed the whole day and wait for things to happen. It would take actions like going to the gym, reading books and blogs, doing small freelance projects, meeting friends, and going to new places. There would be many more things, but I only vaguely remember these things. This is the kind of version that was attractive, magnetic, and confident. Thus, the outcomes were truly amazing. Now, on the other hand, there was a version of me that was opposite of the version that I talked about. This version had no ambitions or goals. This version didn't want to improve in any area of life, and therefore it didn't take any actions that were suitable for growth. This version stopped learning new things and enhancing its knowledge. This version's days went on by scrolling on social media, eating junk food, and not exercising at all. This version would stay at home and would not meet any new people. Also, this version didn't even want to meet any friends and improve its lifestyle. Going on trips would also be a boring task for this version. This version now had a narrow perspective on life and was identifying itself with limitations. This version had beliefs that said, I am not enough, I made mistakes, and I am not deserving. With the passing days, this version became lazy and would hardly do anything out of its comfort zone. It would sit on bed the whole day, scroll social media, compare itself with another, and complain about almost everything in its life. It only had this one goal that would trigger many of you, and that was to get that one person back in its life. I know you are shocked by hearing this, but stay with me because as soon as this version was changed, there came a twist, and it led me to certain realizations that would 100% change the way you look at manifesting a specific person. By the end of this video, you will know it all. So, this kind of attitude gave the second version unfavorable results. People started rejecting this version. They ignored this version. They even didn't respond to this version's calls, and slowly this version started losing people from its life. Life became dull and boring. This version lost its charm and magnetism that would not make people chase it anymore. Can you now notice the differences? Well, I am sure that you have figured out something. It all happened because of the attitude, beliefs, and thoughts these two versions had. In short, the specific person was pursuing the first version. The specific person was chasing this first version and wanted to give anything to get this version. The specific person would initiate contact, talk for hours, and still have this desire to be with this first version. The specific person wanted to meet this version every day and would even buy this first version gifts. But when this version got changed, the specific person lost all interest. The specific person now even blocked this version and didn't want to talk or meet. The specific person would now maintain a distance. I know it sounds kind of disturbing, but it is the reality. People respond to the different versions of you. Even though the person was the same, his different versions gave him different results. It was like people were the messengers telling him who he was. They were showing him what he really believes, and this is how your reality responds to you. You would be shocked to hear that, but even though we are all appearing to have a separate identity because of our physical body, we are still connected at a deeper level, as consciousness is one and everything and everyone is a part of that consciousness. You can say that all of us are spiritually connected. So, whatever we believe about ourselves reaches to the mind of everyone, and therefore everyone and everything responds to us in that specific manner. This is why manifestation is possible. This is the reason why everyone tells you that it works. Neville Goddard explained this concept beautifully in his book by explaining it with the example of a photophone. He says, you may employ a wire, a jet of water, a current of air, a ray of light, or any intermediary whatsoever. The principle of the photophone or the transmission of voice by light will help you to understand thought transmission, or the sending of a word to heal another. There is a strong analogy between a spoken voice and a mental voice. To think is to speak low, to speak is to think aloud. The principle of the photophone is this: a ray of light is reflected by a mirror and projected to a receiver at a distant point. Back of the mirror is a mouthpiece. By speaking into the mouthpiece, you cause the mirror to vibrate. A vibrating mirror modifies the light reflected on it. The modified light has your speech to carry, not as speech but as represented in its mechanical correlate. It reaches the distant station and impinges on a disc within the receiver. It causes the disc to vibrate according to the modification it undergoes, and it reproduces your voice. In the same fashion, your consciousness is the light reflected on the mirror of your mind and projected in space to the one of whom you think. By mentally speaking to the subjective image in your mind, you cause the mirror of your mind to vibrate. Your vibrating mind modifies the light of consciousness reflected on it. The modified light of consciousness reaches the one toward whom it is directed and impinges on the mirror of his mind. It causes his mind to vibrate according to the modifications it undergoes. Thus, it reproduces in him what was mentally affirmed by you. This is the magic wand that I was talking about. Whatever you are conscious of is projected to the one of whom you think. If you are conscious of being like the first version that I have talked of in my video, then your beliefs are projected to the mind of that other person, and thus it reproduces in that person what was mentally affirmed by you. This is how this works. This is how the first version had this phenomenal life while the second one was facing unfavorable circumstances. This is what makes you attractive and magnetic. Whatever you affirm about yourself, the other person would reflect that back to you. This is what your specific person wants you to do. They want you to change your beliefs about yourself. They don't want you to take that narrow approach towards life that the second version took by only wanting the person to come back in its life. They want you to grow in every area of life and become a person who has ambitions and goals. They want you to be active and have a personality that is highly magnetic and appealing. This is how they will chase you. As I told you in the middle of the video, the second version wanted only to get that person back. This is how that version kept this desire on pedestal and was blinded by it. This showed how desperate this version was and how unattractive this version was. This version was taking physical actions, but the response was unfavorable. Then, when this version got aware of the past versions, this version made a decision to change himself. He did it by changing his beliefs about himself and therefore embodying a new version of himself. This version was working on himself and was improving in every area of his life. This is when there was a change in his identity that attracted that specific person. The specific person unblocked and initiated the contact. All of this happens because everyone responds to your energy. They respond to your identity, and therefore it is highly important to shift your identity when you feel that you are stuck in your life. I personally believe that we don't have to pursue any specific person or any materialistic desire of ours. Instead, we just have to shift to the desired version of ourselves that has this person and the materialistic things that we desire. By changing the version, we shift into the consciousness of this new version that has our desires, and therefore it manifests in reality. Only this realization helps everyone to manifest their desires because there is no one to change but self. Everyone is a messenger showing you who you are. So, if you are not liking the reflection, then change the version of yourself. Now, how can you do it? You can do it by making a decision to be a different version of yourself. Then you can use certain tools, such as affirmations and visualization, to make things easier and accessible at the same place. I am designing a course that will help you to shift that identity. This course has only one objective, and that is to assist you in changing your identity. Now, this might get you that specific desire, or something 1,000 times better. The only intention behind this course is to take you out of this constant cycle of desperation, and to assist you in changing your life by adopting certain daily practices. If you don't know about this yet, then I have linked a form that will help me to understand you better. Kindly fill it. Also, you can try a guided meditation that helped many people manifest a call from their specific person. You can click on the first video that now appears on the screen.